Friends, how are you doing? I hope everyone's well. Let's talk about what happened today. I mean, a magnificent day for Palantir. I thought even Big Bear had a good day. Obviously, there's a stock offering happened, so we're going to talk about that. But all in all, I'm pretty excited still and feel really good about what's happening here. So thank you so much for being here, listening to me yap my gums, and we will get right into what's happening here. So we're in a push. We're in a push right now. Go right into Palantir here. I mean, it's like, dude, where do we even start with all the news with Palantir? All these deals that keep acquiring. Now it's out that President Trump is wanting, he's wanting Palantir to work for the government specifically. We don't even know what this contract is going to look like, money, how long. I mean, it's just massive opportunity, even more opportunity on top of opportunity. That's been nothing but opportunity for a company that is just making and breaking all records here. Palantir stock company, Alex Karp, CEO. I mean, it's just crazy bananas out here, friends. Listen, I think we are on a road to something much bigger here with Palantir. Now, obviously, this is my super duper complicated map here to 180 by October. Now, can we get to 180? I don't know. It's going to take a push. It's going to take a lot more pushing here. But, if Palantir continues on the path that it's doing right now, by summer, we're going to be, by the end of summer here, we're going to be getting into Q2 here. I mean, it's crazy to talk about. We're going to be talking about quarterly 2 here with Palantir. They're already on a trajectory of hitting like 40% on top of each quarterly here. That's the growth right now. Can we get to 50% on top of each quarterly? Woo! So there's a reason why you're paying so much for each share price right now. I mean, this is why the stock is so expensive. You're buying for future price at this point. So Palantir's already achieved 110. We're well into 130s at this point. And, I think Palantir, it's customers, stock investors right now, they feel comfortable right now with Palantir. They just feel darn comfortable. And, it's a very real situation of where, you're going to get money back out of Palantir right now. And that's the situation. So Palantir today went right back into some 130 position. I mean, just a fantastic day for the stock. Really big jump here. And this is probably going to be the overall story here with Palantir, to where it's going to start chipping away at this 130 zone. We're going to start chipping away. Every time we have a nice little dip, we're going to see it be bought up and new positions be built in, and it's another hole in the wall here, another peg here where people are just climbing up into this new position here. Palantir undoubtedly has done nothing but be put in a situation where I think a lot of investors are hard to bet against it at this point. And now, this has been me yapping and gossiping here on YouTube about, Palantir, whether you like it or not, it's in the pocket of this administration. They're using it. They like it. Trump, Alex Karp, rubbing shoulders. They're friends. They're buddy. Not to mention that Alex Karp and Elon Musk working together, friendship. I mean, there's so much here that is going on with Palantir. It's, I still think that there's plenty of meat left on the bone here for you, even at 130 here, when we're talking about later into the year here. So, Palantir, I think, will undoubtedly clear over $4 billion in revenue this year easily, because we're only at Q1 here and they're right under $4 billion at this point projection wise. But it's not going to take much more. They can definitely hit a $4 billion revenue stream the whole year of 2025, but undoubtedly we could be even closer to a $1 billion quarterly here, maybe by Q3, Q4 to wrap up the year. Now, obviously, we don't know what these deals are going to look like more. We still haven't even seen the NATO deal that just happened here a month ago hit a quarterly yet. And now we have this other big deal, and we still don't even know the fine minute details of what this deal looks like here, when Trump is talking about using Palantir for government agencies, efficient, all that kind of stuff. And then there's the whole Golden Dome situation. Is that kind of wrapped up in that too? It's a very broad statement that was made here, but undoubtedly it's going to be a lot more money for Palantir. So I think the main thing here is that Palantir is offering two situations for investors here. It's obviously offering long-term investment, long-term play. You're going to do well, and that's what we're seeing, because, there's people that are just adding it right now. Palantir is well in the S&P 500. ETFs, all this kind of stuff. There's money being just pushed into the stock constantly. But as we see this situation grow with just, the FOMO in it, it's just increasing right now. I mean, it's literally the perfect combination of a stock. It's got money coming in. It's got a CEO that's very well known attached to it and has a big mouth, which I think we all love. It's very much in this movement, the zeitgeist, hype, chum in the water right now. Palantir, people are afraid to, I would be scared if Palantir went to 120 at this point. I would be scared not to buy shares because there's a high possibility you're going to make a nice little chunk of change if you're buying at 120, because it's probably going to at least go back to 125, 126. We may never see 110. We may never see the 90s again at this point. It's going to take some major damage in the market for, us to go back on under $100 here for Palantir. And now, you've got article after article. Every 24 hours, there's multiple articles written right now where they're saying Palantir is going to be the next, just $1 trillion market cap stock. The articles are talking about stock splits at this point. I mean, just crazy numbers. So, to me, and listen, I'm not trying to start an argument, but I do want to say that I do believe that Palantir is in this movement, this moment right now where, Nvidia was like 5 years ago. 5 years ago, Nvidia was making crazy money even then. Really, I mean, we're $1 billion quarterlies, great money. But they weren't making near as what they were making now. But we knew of what was coming. That was the thing. We knew what Nvidia was going to, have what it's doing right now. So, back in 2023, 2022, Nvidia was still making right under $10 billion quarterlies, which is crazy. That's crazy. But we knew what was coming. We knew what could possibly be. Now, I don't think anybody knew how intense it was going to be. I mean, I remember back then it was saying I think Nvidia can hit a $15 billion to a $20 billion quarterly. And it was like, of course, everyone was arguing about that. But now look at what Nvidia is doing. This is a company that's going into $50 billion quarterly range. So, I mean, this is one of the biggest gross companies in the history of mankind. So, especially at such a fast rate. Palantir obviously has got a long ways to go. And I'm not saying Palantir is going to be the next Nvidia from what we can tell at this moment. Of course, I want that fairy tale story for all of us, but we're not there at this moment. So, Palantir undoubtedly, though, is on this road that it is chiseling out. It is on this road to 150. I think is on a road to 180. And listen, my numbers of 150, 180, I think there's obviously inflation. There's hype inflation. There's, a movement in that. There's more deals attached to those numbers. There's, there's obviously quarterlies that we're going to continue to see come out here that are still progressing with, up number wise. Those are low expectations, though. I know plenty of people, even well-known analysts, that are saying Palantir is going to 300, 350. I mean, some people are saying even crazier numbers than that, but I wouldn't get in this pocket of, place with Palantir where I would go, well, the stock's going to fall back down to $50. If someone's saying that, be very careful of that situation, because people were saying that at $80. People were saying that at $70. They were saying it at $100. And, a lot of people left out. A lot of people were able to buy back in at 80. I know, listen, I remember being here just a moment ago talking about Palantir at $70, $80, and people are like, why would you tell someone to buy Palantir at $70, $80? Because you could see what was coming. Quarterlies were increasing. Deals were not stopping. Alex Karp was getting closer and closer into this new administration that was unfolding before us. Look where it is now. Now Palantir is in this huge deal that we're trying to figure out what exactly it means with the Trump administration. So, friends, this you think it's crazy now, it could get a whole lot crazier. I mean, this could get really just ridiculous. So I'm very excited to see where Palantir is going to go from here. I think we're chiseling our way into 140. I think that's very obvious. I don't know why a lot of people would disagree with that. I think most people would probably agree with that statement. It's not going to hurt my feelings if you don't. Palantir is unstoppable at this point. You know, it's just the deals are just overwhelming the stock right now. So it's I'm not even look at a chart like a candlestick chart with it, because I think what you're watching now, you're just watching the teeter-totter of, you know, climbing up the wall here. Every time we slide down, we're gonna find a wave of money come in, and then we're gonna just start chipping away here at a whole new price range. So I think 140 is coming here sooner than we think. I really do mean that. Now, obviously, there's going to be sell-off getting to that, but there's going to be a push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback until we see that 140. I think it's going to be here sooner than we think here. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, Big Bear. Let's talk about Big Bear. And I do want to say SoFi. I think SoFi is trying to get into a run again. I think SoFi is trying to get back in the $14 range again. It's great, good, so happy about that. The situation that is unfolding before us right now with Big Bear is obviously Big Bear announced having a stock offering, 150 million stock offering with this company. So this isn't, to me, this isn't like death threatening. It's just not. I mean, that's really, it's not that big of a deal. Big Bear is still moving. It's going to do fine here. Obviously, the stock is sitting at some good, strong position right now. Big Bear is at a very healthy stage right now in life with the stock price. Look at this candlestick chart here. So obviously, I'm no professional, but I've been being in the stock market as long as I have now. There are strong signs, and, stocks are creatures of habit when they get in good position here. So, looking, back here in April, the 25th to be exact here, we're in the start of this push. Okay, the market starts to come back. People are feeling more comfortable putting money into the market. We start to see a lot of our, penny stocks, low cap stocks start to come back here, ones that are very healthy, Big Bear being included into that conversation. Big Bear, April 25th, boom, number one, we see our first strike back up into $3, okay? Right under $3. We're still doing good though. Then we see some sell-off back to high $2 range, okay? Then we start trailing up again here going into May. Back now we're at the run up 2 here. Now we're well into 350 zone, okay? Now people are getting excited. Things are happening here. People are getting some more profit. They're doing well here. Okay. Now, we're deeper at the end of May here, and now, we had push, then we had sell-off, a little more push, big drop into that 380 zone, and now we've had this number 3 push, this staircase of number 3 here, this green 3, and now we're back into the sell-off. So the stock offering news came out today. Stock market was okay today. Not great, not bad. It was just one of those okay days. We'll take it. But now the question is 3 hits. We've got 3 hits here. It looks like a 4th is coming. So this 4th climb that may start to appear right now. And we could, if you look at number 2 right here, they're shortening up here, the pushes. So 1, push up, then a big staircase down, and then we had a little staircase back up. Number 2, new high, and then a little walk down with a little bitty walk back up. 2 of those walks right there. But number 3 here, this could be a shorter fall into a bigger push here very soon. A shorter time span is what I'm saying here. So Big Bear could be finding its way back into $4 easily, but we could be going into a $4.60, $4.80 position. I think $5 is probably coming here. I really do. I think, that's very arguable, obviously, with a lot of people, but the whole lawsuit situation is wrapping up here very soon. That'll be gone out of here. Pltr-Bbai-Tem. But with that too, even today with this stock offering conversation that was going on here with Big Bear. A lot of people I don't think are really worrying about it whatsoever. Big Bear ended the day here at $3.95, but still, I mean, that's pretty good. If that's the new low we're dealing with, that's pretty good right there, friends. That's pretty remarkable. So if you've been here like a hawk watching Big Bear, you're probably saying the same thing, like, okay, we'll take that. That's pretty good. Listen, 2 weeks ago we were begging for $3.95. So now that we have $3.95, this is really good position, really good walk up. So Big Bear's still in a very good position with investors, okay? And I don't want to sound like a broken record and go over all the deals, everything. Of course, there's a person in here watching that's never heard me yap my gums about Big Bear, but obviously Big Bear has problems. There's problems, but I do think, and I think there's an argument to say that Big Bear is doing better than it ever has. Obviously, last quarterly, they did not hit it, but they just missed it by the slightest, under $2 million. They missed it. That's good for them. That's real good. We're seeing some uptick in revenue here. Very, very good signs. Okay. Listen, you have to understand, if there's plenty of companies out there that are killing it with quarterlies, that are doing phenomenal with money, they got money in the bank, you can put your money in there and rest easy. You can go to bed tonight and sleep and you're like, I feel good about my investment. And you should. And those kind of stocks are like Palantir. You can put your money in Palantir. You can buy Apple, Microsoft. You're going to make money. You're going to do well. But Big Bear, it's a little more risky. And people that are here playing around with Big Bear, we know that. We know this is still a risky situation as what's going on right now. But there is another side to the card where we go, oh, well, this could be a little bit of an ace too, where, if they were to get one more nice, massive little deal, even the slightest deal of, like $80 million. I mean, and that's really not that much money when we talk about an AI company getting, a deal. I mean, that's really not that much money, especially if it's like a government contract. So something like that would be phenomenal for them. It would clean up all the worry that we have about this year if they're gonna meet quarterlies, paying off more debt, and it's still so early in the year. We're not even halfway done with the year. It would be very, very good for us to know that we would at least have, one more solid deal. And I think that's what we're looking for right now. We're looking for one more solid, just even the slightest, littlest deal right now to clean up the doubts with Big Bear. So, friends, I think we're in a staircase up. I really do. Now, with that staircase, it could still bring some, scary days here. If Big Bear sells down to 380, 370, I'm not shocked by any means, but I would be shocked to see it do really poorly here. I don't think we're going to lose our ground here. The market would have to sell off completely for Big Bear to lose the structure that it has built here since April. This has been a slow build here, but I think it's going to pay off here undoubtedly into $5, into, if Big Bear gets into a $5 range here, it could really get some push on it. It could really get some more hype attached to it. And, like I said, one more nice little deal and getting this lawsuit deal wrapped up and done with, and we don't have to hear about it anymore, it's going to be very good for Big Bear. So, so we could be going into a nice little summer here with Big Bear. Friends, I want to thank you all so much for being here. I'm very excited. It's Monday. Let's see what the rest of the market brings here. There's still plenty. There's so many stocks out there that are I just gotta love the stock market. I love investing. HIMS, my God, SoFi, SoundHound. I mean, there's so many stocks. And just ETFs. I love ETFs too. I don't really talk about them because most people could care less about ETFs, but there's still something I invest in, every day. And I know I haven't talked about Tempest stock in a while, but Tempest stock, I mean, my God, Tempest stock today, it jumped so much today. I mean, it just went freaking crazy. Nancy Pelosi, Kathy Woods, everyone attached to that stock. I mean, just crazy situation. I'll do a more in-depth video with that stock here, I promise, this week. But still just an amazing growth story going on with Tempest. Friends, take care of yourself. I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.